The Lions are a little bit stronger, at least on this game, and they're capable of taking a fast game versus DMG. Let's be honest, this was a beautiful one, but Jungler Shinzao, what can we talk about that one?
There's a
Should
lot.
have
There's
been
a lot to
banned.
say. Yeah, that was a banging game there from Johan. I'm very impressed. I thought, I thought maybe he'd have more synergy with Tempt, but it turns out he has synergy with everyone on the team. So that's brilliant. And the confidence that he had to invade early and get that solo kill onto Shift. I really think he was in Shift's head from that point on. Shift was always behind the pace against him. There was like a 2-level gap during the lane/jungle phase, and I would argue that Shift was taking some suboptimal jungle paths, probably because he was overthinking what Johan was going to be up to. So yeah, I think he was the foundation from which Lions Creed built their success that game.
A question that I have for both of you, because there's not a lot to analyze. Obviously, this was a fast game and it was a beautiful coming in from Lions Creed. My question to you all is the experience they have, the star players they have. Do you believe the game was as fast as it was because they had the lead, so they were capable of closing it in because of the experience? Or do you believe that this team is just better and this is what we can expect throughout the entire split? Because I said this to Duckling while we were watching, and you remember this. I said it. It happens every single year, every single split. A team shows up and you're like, we're going to rule the EMA. We're going to do it. We're going to do it. And then we don't.
It is true. It's a very good point, right? This is obviously a super team. We talked about this in the pre-game as well. This is the team that on paper should win the regular season, win the split, and hopefully make a quarterfinal, and then I'd be happy at EMEA Masters. I think other teams should, from my expectations, challenge them more than we saw DMG do here. I think DMG defaulted back to what they were comfortable on. And this was something that obviously Lions Creed with their prep were aware of and had a plan against, right? They knew what they needed to do to shut down Liam Cole's Aphelios. They knew what they wanted to do to put down Shift earlier, put him behind early on as well. So they played the game pretty much perfectly. They came in with a plan. They executed well on it. They looked phenomenal. But I think other teams have more to offer than DMG do right now. I still believe this DMG roster can do much better than we saw here. I think someone like Verdant can definitely, on paper, test this team. Verdant won't be the favorites going up against Lions Creed. Lions Creed will be favorites in any matchups. But they will just not they won't walk over this league. That's what I'm trying to say. They won't walk over it, but they will likely win it if they play like this every game.
So we do have an interview with Pride, the manager from DMG. I'll try to cue him in. I don't know if he's ready right now. Okay, we're going through a little bit of an issue. I don't know if we can still talk to him, just on the voice comm. If he can't appear, we can just talk with him. There's no problem about it. Okay, the mic is up, so Pride, are you there?
Hello?
Normally has his,
Okay, I heard something.
Am I here?
Yes, you are. Okay, your voice at least is with us, and that's more than enough.
Okay.
So tell me something. It was a complicated game, obviously. It was a really complicated game, but I want to talk about the roster. I want to talk about what is your expectations towards the split with DMG. I want to tackle the entire team before we go into a single one.
Can you repeat the question? Sorry.
Regarding your talent, like the pool you brought in with DMG, what is the objective of DMG right now towards this split? There you are. Okay, I see you.
Hello. Yeah, I think the objective for us is we have gotten a lot of rookie players, right? And these are players that we have gathered from our regional projects. So Agony is coming from our regional team in Denmark, LVS comes from our Aurora Cup team, Shift comes from a regional team in Norway. So we have brought in these rookies that we want to develop to get stronger and have experience, and which is something that I really enjoy myself. And we need new players in the league. We can't have the same guys coming all over and all over, and we need to give the rookies like experience, right? If they need to, no, how they become better is that they play in the first division with people that are better than them, so they can get the experience.
I totally agree with that one, and I know that DMG is an organization that really likes to build up the community. Not only the people coming into teams, but also the viewership as well. You guys are always working in ways to unify the community as well. Can you talk to me a little bit about that? Because I love that project about making in-houses. You made in-houses before. Like, tell me a little bit about DMG itself.
Yeah, so the in-house hasn't been really active lately. It was very active when we had the going to LEC. No, not LEC. Yeah, LEC finals. Then it was really active, and I think we still want to do that, but we're trying to build it up again. So we're trying to like build up like a server where at least the Nordic scene can come together and play together, learn from each other, and build each other up. Because I don't think there are much for the Nordic scene out there. I know there's the EU Master Challengers queue that is up here and there, but we want like an active NLC server that potentially in the future can have benefits for playing. Right now, it's still in development, and of course, I think we also want other things for the scene, and in other games as well. It's a slow work in progress to and we also have the facility.
To begin with. Yeah, you have the facility. You guys are working towards that one, and I thank you so much for the interview. It was a complicated game, obviously, to start off, but as you said, you're betting on talent, and talent needs to be built up. So who knows what happens throughout the entire split? Thank you so much for being with us, Pride. I'll see you soon, I hope, and best of luck.
Thank you. Lux for losers.
You gotta help me on that one, Duckling, because But I totally agree. The idea of building up a community and working from ground up, and then just as you stated, as soon as I saw the interview and I saw Kasing, I'm like, wait,
Yeah, that was
the right interview. But no, they actually had
unfortunate.
Kasing before. I casted a few games of Kasing on DMG, and I really like the idea of them building something from scratch, and that's how you find talent.
I mean, they've really broadened their horizons. If we just talk about DMG as an organization as a whole, right? Formerly known as Domino, they were just in the NLC Div 1. I think last summer, they started to they had a Danish team, a UK team, Swedish, Finnish. They had a team in all of our national leagues. And from what we can hear from Pride, they've just taken players from these teams or other talent development teams and just shoveled them in, taken the best of the bunch and put them in here saying, we have faith in you. We know it will be rough, but you need the experience. This will help you grow. And I have no doubt that it will. I've talked a lot of good about this roster on paper. I still believe this roster can achieve things that people don't expect quite yet, but they need time, they need the experience. I have faith in this Domino project, or DMG, sorry, completely butchered that right now. That completely ruins the vibe of it, but the DMG project, I do have faith in it. I think they've chosen good talent, but obviously they will look bad when they come up against a super team like this, who already look like a well-oiled machine when you are rookies coming into your first day at the office, right?
It's totally normal, so don't worry about that one. But let's talk about the super team, and let's talk with the super team. I have the AD carry. It's Jinjo, if I'm not mistaken, with us. There you go. Welcome to the interview. Pleasure to meet you, by the way. I'm not going to make a really big, exciting commit me because the first time I did it, I was met with no sort of interaction. So how are you doing, Jinjo?
I'm quite well. Thanks, and good evening, guys.
Good evening. So talk to me about the team in question. The idea to have a super team. You are part of the super team, so you're a super player as well. And I want to understand the communication going in through the like Discord or TeamSpeak. How is it for you guys to make the calls?
I'd say we have a relatively relaxed environment. I think we have some relatively experienced players. So when it comes to playing official matches, our communication is quite smooth. I don't think people are really too hyped or too panicked. It's just felt quite similar to scrims, I would say. So it was pleasant to play.
So, and how do you feel playing side by side with Kasing? Because it's really, really high, or it can be really annoying.
Actually, I've been most impressed with Kasing on the lineup so far. I think there's definitely some age narratives that go around in esports. The older you seem to get, the less respect people seem to give you. But throughout the off-season, Kasing was definitely playing a lot of solo queue. His mechanics are on point. He's an aggressive laner. So I've been very positively surprised by him. And I hope people start to see that he's still a very insane player.
But that happens every single split. Every single time Kasing appears, people are like, maybe he's washed up and he's still as good as the previous one. It's really complicated to look at Kasing and say he's not the same as he was before. So do let me know as a player, because we're trying to get to know you, what do you prefer as a support? Someone aggressive like Kasing, or do you prefer him to go like Yumi, Lulu, and something that we just get bored to death?
I think the answer to that is relatively obvious after today's draft. Enemy team went Milio, and let's just say I was kind of screaming for Blitzcrank. Of course, Kasing would love to play some Blitz as well, but we're definitely on the same page when it comes to how we like to play lane.
So we're talking about aggressiveness, and I'm getting to meet you. I'm getting to know you, so I need to know more. What's your favorite champion to play as an AD carry? What can I expect? What can I say as soon as you pick it? I'm like, there you go, Jinju got this champion. It's going down. Who is it?
Look, I have quite a wide champion pool, and I would say I definitely enjoy to play a lot of champions. Right now, my favorite champion to play is Seraphine, and I'll leave it at that.
I had such high expectations to you, man. I'm kidding. Thank you so much for the interview. We have to move on because we have the next game. That was a beautiful game one from you guys. I have high expectations for the team and you as well, so pleasure to meet you.
Thanks, and good night, guys. Thanks for watching.
I like to be aggressive. And I play with someone that uses a skateboard and goes like, oh, I can't.
Play with a skateboard. Well, who says that? Literally, that phrase has never been uttered in the history of mankind. Right now, my favorite champion is Seraphine. Honestly.
That's kind of
grotesque. Then again, he's an Aussie, right? So he's a bit upside down. So maybe that's what's going on there. So
I'm going to take this opportunity to move on to the next game. And, there you go. Player of the match. It was Johan. Obviously, the way you played with Shinzao. 8-1-8. They all clicked in the server. This was scary to watch, no?
Yeah, it was scary. Very, very tough for someone who loves Danes. I just saw 3 of them get smashed right in front of my face.
Curiously enough, every single time we have NLC, that happens, Duckling. It's like a tradition.
Come on. We had Australians were pretty good for a while. And that's all we have.
I'm just giving you the time to think about that, process it, and I'll move on to the next game. Match 3 of the day. Now, Foxtrot, it's on to you. It's Venom Crest versus Light Side, okay?
Have we got the clip? Just roll it. There you go. I don't have to say anything.
So what can we expect? This is the first time we talked about this one.
Slight spoilers, right? Because I did sort of go into this one a little bit before when I misread the schedule. But yes, Venom Crest and Lundqvist. I'm excited to see it because we haven't seen too much of them, have we, so far here in the NLC? They're new to the NLC, fresh faces here, so that's going to be nice and fun to see what they can come up with. And I always like it when we see new-ish, new talent, new faces. Just I really want to see the more established organizations from the NLC being tested and being challenged. I think it's really cool. Like, you've got a complete smorgasbord of nationalities being represented from both these teams. So I love the fact that it's very, very diverse in that sense, and you can get a lot of different kind of voices and personalities coming through right there. And that can make for some quite explosive gameplay and some fun team fights.
I'm personally very excited to see Emp and Booty, you mentioned them as well, played together just last split as well on Lundqvist's side, and all of last year helped them get promoted. So did Painful, who is on the side of Venom Crest now. He has left Lundqvist's light side. Has he been kicked, or has he joined for a better team? Who knows? Regardless, though, I'm excited to see Painful go up against his former mid jungle. You're throwing me off, Foxtrot. I'm making a point here. But he's going up against his former jungle and top laner. Regardless of the reason he's no longer on the team, who knows if he thinks he's moved to greener pastures? He certainly moved to a greener logo, and now let's get into the draft.
Hey, there it is.
He wrote this before. He was just reading from the script.
I was not. This is all in my head.
That's good.
Okay, picking bands are coming in, so we have a lot of bands already out.
And he can do that. He can stand up and leave because he's using the wireless SteelSeries Arctic headset, which is the sponsor of
Get that ad read in there. Let's go.
I also have Steel CDs as well, but I'm still waiting for the wireless. It's about to happen.
Mine's wired, so because I'm not using a Steel. If only I had a Steel Series, man. It would be different.
Cassiopeia
quit
is
too.
not the pick. It's going to be the Cassante as we expected. This is a safe pick. What can you follow it through though? We already have the Orianna in the mid lane. Maybe you can go for the jungle or even the AD carries. We have seen a lot of priority for the AD carries today. It was mostly Varus just getting the poke in.
Surely it's a Jarvan priority this draft. Jarvan, the yumping youngler. You've got to take him
you
away.
could go for the Jarvan, but there's also still the Sensao, who's just in general very, very strong.
I think
really-
the synergy with Orianna is kind of nutty if you do Ori Jarvan. So
Ori Jarvan is strong.
Yeah.
Obviously, Nocturne has been banned for the simple reason all 3 games that Nocturne Orianna too strong to be let through the draft. So he's just constantly gone. The Gnar, though, not something that I would have expected to see. We have seen a bit of it in the LCK. I know KT Perfect pulled it out and did have some good plays on it. So it has found a spot. But this is what I like about the new season, right? We are still seeing things that are popping up every now and then, still be viable in pro play, despite not being the strongest meta. And I think the Gnar could definitely work out. Interested to see the Viego as well. I would have preferred the Jarvan with the Orianna, as you said, Foxtrot, instead of the Viego. But let's see what they have to offer as the Sensao now goes into the hands of Lunkus Lightside, who just have 3 very, very strong picks. That's a great draft so far.
Yeah. It's slightly more meta than what we're seeing on the side. From Venom there, aside from the Orianna, obviously, but this is a very a very scrappy jungle matchup we've got here already. The Xin Zhao in the last game going up against Jarvan. Jarvan not really the 1v1 style of champion, still very strong early, but mostly because of the agency and impact that he can have on lanes. Whereas Viego, if Xin wants to fight, Viego will go toe to toe with him any day of the week. And I do think that having a more supportive style mid laner kind of unlocks you to do some really powerful stuff from that jungle role. So having an Orianna there with a carry Viego can be pretty scary. Going to be the tanky supports banned away here though from the side of Lundqvist, and ironically a squishy support being banned on the other side.
Last ban for Venom Crest right now before we go into Ragnar to see what he can pick. To follow this one through, you have to go with an AD carry, and the champion pool of AD carries aside from the Lucian and the Varus, unless you count that Senna as usually goes for the support, but still as an AD carry, hasn't been touched yet. What else can we see to follow this one? You have the Xin Zhao already with some sort of attack speed, Azir with some sort of attack speed and the long range. I mean, it kind of worked in the first game, so might as well. That long range composition is the focus right now.
I mean, the support pool's been heavily trimmed as well. I kind of would have thought Lightside might have wanted to lock in that support early on because so much has just been banned. Yet again, though, with the removal of mythics and the rework of the support items, we're seeing a lot more champs pop up in the support role. So you can pretty much make anything fit the support mold. So I guess that's why they don't prioritize it so highly. Back though to the AD carry question, there's a lot of that has been taken off the table. Still, though, a decent amount of options. I mean, if you're going for the Rakan, you might as well just take the Sire, right? Get that strong duo
That's really good, yeah.
secured. Especially with both the Nautilus and Rill gone, you've removed 2 of the strongest Gnar counters, or not Gnar counters, the Rakan counters. So, great support pick here, and it will do bits in lane.
Yeah, this is really interesting. I think that would be perfect here if they did decide to round things out. Like you've got a really, really nice, weak side, top, supportive mid,
like
and
this.
some really. Ooh, I think that's slight denial as well, right? Like you can pick Ashe as your ADC if you're Venom Crest, and then stop Lightside from picking it for their support. Because I do think if there is a weakness right now of Lightside's comp, it's their engage. They don't have great engage. Picking the Jhin definitely helps a little bit because you can lay down, open up the curtain call, and have people follow up. But it's certainly not hard engaged like an Ashe would have provided.
That's a
coming
bar.
through here.
I love that. I love the bar. I'm so excited to see that. Here's a completely random fun fact. I actually have a world record on the champion Bard though. If anyone knows the Vandrel million of world record video that they made, like the 7-hour game, I was the Bard in that one. I got 986 Bard stacks. That's still the world record in my eyes.
Wow.
From what I've been able to find on the internet. Just throwing that out there. Fun fact.
We're really proud of you for that, Duckling, actually.
Thank
really
you,
cool.
Foxtrot. That's the credit I needed to hear.
Yeah.
Are we?
Ashrim, you can praise me as well. You're proud of me. I spent my whole Sunday collecting chimes and running around the rift
I should
for
give
7.5 hours.
a kudos to that one.
Yeah, you should.
I'll give you an opportunity to tell me who do you think is going to win this one.
This is actually a good question. This is the closest matchup in my eyes, just looking at the rosters. They all have some unknown factors that we aren't too sure about. I am leaning towards Lightside here. I like what they've done, but Oh, this is a rough one. This is really, really hard to predict. I think we're in for the closest game of the night.
Oh.
So I'm excited to see how it goes. But head on the table, I'm saying light side are slight favorites here.
Okay.
I'll go with
Foxtrot, do
Venom
you
Crest
agree?
then, just to
Okay.
be contrarian. I think it's close though. It's really close. It's gonna be a good game.
It's gonna be a close one. So let's gather ourselves to jump into the Summoner's Rift. Well, some people gather ourselves to the Summoner's Rift. Other people gather meeps. So it's on to you, Hipran and Aragon.
Thank you very much, Archer. We're getting ready to go into that game number 3 of the day. Aragon, you had some choice words before we came on air about this comp, so I'm just gonna kind of throw the ball to you, and you can air your grievances with that chance.
Yeah, so I probably can't word it the same way, but in general, I think Lightside really should be happy with this draft. I'm not a big fan of the other draft involving Ashe Rakan bot lane. I much prefer Ashe with like some kind of poem pushing lane, something like Ashe Heimerdinger. You know, that's what I was kind of looking at. What range supports can you pair it off with? If not, then just go Zarya Rakan and play for that Viego Zarya Rakan kind of combo burst with the reset composition. That's the problem I have with this composition. When you play Viego, you want kind of like champions with a lot of single target bursts, so you all pounce on the same target and you play kind of like reset comps, right? That's why famously Viego Lissandra was a duo, right? You blow up one target, both get resets. On the flip side, I really like the Bard pick for LLS. Bard pick into immobile champions is absolutely fantastic, right? So that's a flash or a kill on every single ultimate onto the Ashe. So yeah, I think I'm going to favor LLS in that scenario.
Yeah, I think, the Bard I'm glad you highlighted as well, because it's not just about it being able to kind of deal with the immobile champions. It's like, how much is actually jumping forwards into their team, and how hard does Bard shut that down? Like, Viego jumps forwards, an auto attack or a Q will just completely halt him in his advance, unless it's like a flash E from the Viego into that stun. So there's lots of tools that Bard enables to kind of be able to deal with their team jumping forwards. I think the other major threat for jumping forwards is the Gnar. But that's, again, really good in team fights anyway. So you get that Gnar Orianna combo, a lot of AoE damage. So, it's not like I would say they don't have tools with their comp. I think they've got a comp that kind of does a lot of different things. But I do agree that, when you're running that Viego, having a Zarya just would have given you that single target burst, giving you that very quick chunk of damage, which could then secure you the win. On the other side, we've only really talked about Dr. Chaos's Bard. Jhin, we still know, is very, very good right now. We saw Merbs have an amazing game on it in game number 1. We talked a lot at the beginning of the day about how kind of like the Orianna, the Azir, the Corki, the Nico as well. These are the kind of champs that are currently ruling as far as the mages go in the mid lane. So it's nice to see Torak on that Azir, because we haven't actually have a look at that one today here on the NLC.
So, as far as the lanes are concerned, you have soft counter for Gnar into Cassandre. You have soft counter for Orianna, arguably hard counter depending on how good you are, right? This is a very skill matchup, which is Orianna favored as well, into the Azir. So, I think that's definitely an avenue that Venom Crest can play for, right? You have priority in both sides. I think Cassandre, at the very least, we don't see Gnar that much since the item update, and I think that's because Gnar's itemization isn't as good as before. So I'm really curious to see how Lenny pilots this. As the game goes on, Gnar should get priority more often, but it's really about whether or not those items are good enough, and you can see how Orianna wins into these trades. Outranges in lane, outranges in team fights, should get a decent lead in lane if played optimally.
Yeah, and just able to run rings around Torak there as well. It makes it hard, especially at that level 1, when your auto attacks are very reliant on your soldiers to do damage as Azir, and Orianna can just auto attack because she has the clockwork wind up. Nice to see Zubak though going for an invade. We haven't had too many invades here, but Dr. Chaos, he smelt something was amiss, and immediately goes out and spots out that the blue buff has been set back. It's interesting because if Dr. Chaos was left a little bit earlier, he would have thought that blue buff's gone, and then would have had to look at somewhere else and a different plan. So that was kind of good timing there by Dr. Chaos, just to make sure that Zubak doesn't run away with that chickens into blue buff steal.
Yeah, makes sense with that prior down bot side. I expected Jhin Bard to get more prior on this, but I have to admit I've never seen an Ashe Rakan lane in my life. So maybe they have a surprising amount of push. I don't think so though. Regardless, Zubak's plan's going to be put to rest by Dr. Chaos, and he's going to have to clear up the top side unless he wants to continuously push for this bot side play. But EMP has skipped some camps, so he'll be here if Viego wants to do anything.
Yeah, it looks like Zubak is thinking about it. So Ragnar is getting some damage there off onto Dead Hound, but Dead Hound. We had a heal up. Zubak knows this blue buff still up and actually will find Emp. Does have his bot lane who could potentially roam over. His mid, though, having that priority is going to be the major thing that's able to kind of get him the control here. Emp's got that smite up and available. Dr. Chaos has made his way over as Pazzy comes in. Blue buff was secured by Zubak, and Emp, that's a really tough pill to swallow, that one. You lost out pretty hard on the back of that.
Yeah, it's really rough, and this is why I'm surprised that LLS lost priority. I thought with a double-ranged, longer-range champions, but maybe I'm underestimating Ash push. I thought with that, then they could defend on any kind of invade. Still, going to lose out on that blue buff, and you could see he's going straight for that crab topside. Maybe we'll see an invade as Cassante TP's back to lane, but I doubt it. That Orianna push is really rough. Torak on 250 HP.
Yeah, Torak very heavily chunked out. And like
That's
you
a
said,
reset.
if you're good enough at the Orianna, you do hard win this lane, and Painful is making Torak's life pretty painful right now. Zubak got the crab, isn't going to go contest the other crab, just wants to make sure that he secures the blue buff and gets control there, as Ragnar actually loses a little bit of HP there. I say a little bit, loses a lot of HP there, as Pazzy able just to get some damage off onto him and kind of get a winning trade for himself off the back of that.
Yeah, and so because the clears have been so slow for the junglers, because there's been so many shenanigans down bot side, they're actually going to clear their jungle, and by the time they've done their first clear, the grubbies are going to actually have spawned. They're up in 25 seconds, so I wonder if they'll stick around, maybe try to force something topside and actually do grubbies without having reset. That might be the angle here for Zubak.
I was saying Pazzy is actually going for a reset. He may actually beeline topside if he wants to try and secure Zubak the control of that of the grubs. Zubak, he has been spotted out by that Scryers, or the the Scuttle Crab, thank you. Zubak, so they'll know he's doing this one. Reset comes in from Emp, and Zubak, he's just going to go in and start it immediately. I don't even know if Emp wants to contest this, because his top is pushing away from him, and his mid is also pushing, so like, or pushed under, so they just don't have any opportunity to contest on these Void Grubs, and this is a very easy take for Zubak. Emp is going to try and go towards the bottom side of the map, but his bot lane's reset, so it's a really suboptimal time to do the dragon, and overall it's just a net loss there for the side of light side.
Yeah, not in position to cross-map EMP XD. Not in position to cross-map on the dragon, or maybe a bot side gank with that bard set up in the Jhin setup. So going to have to resort to just clearing his camps. Good stuff from Zubak, honestly. Securing those three Void Grubs, utilizing his prior in mid and top that we discussed, and securing it. Now, the matchup does get a bit trickier at 6 in mid lane, because now you're vulnerable to some kind of Shurima shuffle into a Xin Zhao, right? Especially with Bard perma roaming. I expect Painful, especially if he loses Flash at any point, to struggle and potentially die at some point. So we'll have to see how well he survives that.
That dragon was thought about, but they decided not to go for that. Quick lift down to the bottom side of the map using Dr. Chaos, and just back to business.
I think bot lane wave is being held by Deadhound and Pazzy. The wave being frozen there is really painful, so EMP has actually walked down to bot side to maybe try and force the crash. As the shuffle comes in.
He goes for the flash sombrero!
Dude, that was clean!
Painful! That was so clean! Oh, I love that.
I love it. I love it. The sombrero onto the Azir, despite the flash, despite the shuffle attempt. Really, really clean stuff from Painful. I said this matchup was hard, but he does it really well.
That was planned. He had that
Yeah.
so ready. He had
If
that
he
one
shuffles
locked and
me here,
loaded.
I'm sombreroing him and killing him into my Viego. Yeah, really clean stuff. And that's going to convert into a dragon now, right? Dr. Chaos is going to try and contest, but ultimately...
Yeah, not too much he's going to be able to achieve with that one. Zubak going to get his hands on to this dragon. An objective game, very, very Venom Crest favored. They've been very on it at this point. They've got themselves a gold lead. That gold lead going to grow just a little bit more. 1,500 gold in favor of Venom Crest. So not a major lead, but the difference is the amount of pressure they're going to be able to gain off that. Lenny has already been able to use those 3 Void Grubs to secure himself a plate in the top side. And with the Void Grubs spawning up again relatively soon, Zubak is going to quickly clear out his red side, probably just get himself ready and set up for this next spawn of the Void Grubs, and try and use that to snowball his lanes and just their plate leads.
Wow. This is my first cast on new season, right? I think it's yours too.
Yes.
But Void Grubs makes it so much more interesting. There's no like
I
dead
love
time. Yeah, there's no dead time between dragons, and that you can actually talk about. Oh, they're gonna set up this. They're gonna set up as a gank comes down bot side.
Oh, they're looking for it. There's going to be the flash out by Ragnar, but it's not going to be able to save his support. Dr. Chaos.
There it is.
He's going to need his own doctor at this point, as now Lenny just going to send LLS back. Does not want to get himself caught out there by the light side jungle top duo. And Void Grub's not up, so they burnt the Gnar ult, but again, that'll be back up pretty much by the time he's got his Gnar bar back up. And Zubak, in the meanwhile, just able to steal away all these camps. And
Yeah.
Zubak, he's not going to steal the blue, because partly because Dr. Chaos is coming back, but partly he wants to get reset and get topside. You can see the pings already coming down. You can see the Pazzy also moving up towards this top side of the map. Painful just has so much control of this lane. And Lightside, they might just be getting 6 grubbed.
Yeah, I'm really impressed with Zubak and his proactivity, invading
Yes.
with pryos in every single lane and securing every single grub. EMP has not been able to find anything in this early game, and he's probably going to be relegated down to, you know, frontline duty with that ultimate. Of course, like once he gets his Titanic, he'll be much happier. But still, I'd like to see them move from bot into mid. They have so much setup onto a flashless Orianna. They just need to sniff mid, and Orianna will die. So I really want to see them play with a Bard portal or something like this. Just flash on him, right? EMP has flash. Prepare your third Q and go to town. But doesn't look like they're going to go for it.
Yeah, that's like AMP just going to take away the chicken camp, but that is the Void Grubs as the cost here. Is painful. You can see him and Pazzy were thinking if they could find a bait onto Torak, but not going to be able to find that. This time you see Zubak actually was waiting it out before he goes any further. Now, this always comes at a cost. When you do those Void Grubs, you get the announcement. You know how long they're doing the Void Grubs for as well, because you get one announcement for each Void Grub taken. And that means Deadhound had to play at a bit of a deficit, give up some farm, give up some pressure in the lane just because he was isolated. But now Pazzy has reunited with his ADC. Level 6 is onto Pazzy. Onto Deadhound. Pazzy not got that level 6 yet. But once that comes in, a dive is very hard into an Ashe and Rakan with their ults up.
Yeah. Honestly, there it is. There it is. Flashless Orianna. This should be a kill.
He's got the ult. He's got the ult. He's got the ult. He doesn't get it off in time. He waited a little bit too long, trying to see if he could get the 2-man, and cost him his life.
There we go. And Painful surviving up until that point, getting the sombrero to get the kill earlier, and then avoiding ganks with the help of Pazzy shadowing him so he can't get ganked. Finally falls because of just how hard it is to pilot at that point in the game. Now, Dr. Chaos getting pushed in. Gonna have to be here to potentially let Ragnar catch the wave. I want to see that again. Rinse and repeat. Force flash mid lane again. Force flash anywhere else. And then keep sending your Bard up with EMP. Link them up and keep making plays. Because that is, again, it's still in a mobile carry in the mid lane. And now you have Bardar.
Yeah, Lenny, though, starting to get a lot of a nuisance here onto Bucci. Bucci just forced to kind of keep the wave from not getting to the tower, so Lenny can't just Void Grub it up. But also is going to take a lot of poke to do so. It's going to try and jump in, pops the W, but loses a lot of HP. Lenny needs to be careful. He's going to lose a little bit of HP there. If he goes in for the dive, that's dangerous. He jumps over the head. He knew. He found them both. Gets the R back. In comes the rest of Venom Crest. EMP is popped. And now Zubak may actually look for the kill. Remember, he's got the Xin Zhao abilities. The shockwave goes wide. Comes in with a free talent strike. Throws the ultimate down. Gets himself pulled back. And that is going to be enough for the kill.
So Zubak.
Bucci almost turns the play, but is unable to. And that was just a really, really well played fight there from Venom Crest.
Yeah, honestly, Venom Crest is really impressing me. Knowing where they need to be, the support and the jungle duo of this team. Pazzy, we haven't really mentioned him that much outside of shadowing mid lane, but he's linking up with Zubak really well. Always there to help Ashe farm when he needs to, catching a wave under tower, but also making plays across the map, surviving and defending these lanes. I am super impressed by the supports today. I don't know what's happening, but support seems like our best role.
Yeah, I also think ADCs are having the worst time of their life right now.
Yeah, well,
because
that's
there's so
kind
much
of the game now.
Oh no, they deserved it. They've had it too good for years. Like, if you're an ADC player, it's over. Your time of fun is done. But it is quite sad for, you know, we've seen both Deadhound have to do it in this game, admittedly to better success than we saw in our last game, but the attention is so much further shifted towards the top side of the map for these early objectives and what you can gain off those. The ADCs, kind of just have to give up their lane sometimes because the support will roam to secure their team an objective, which gives those big global buffs. And this has come at the cost where, you know, this time Deadhound hasn't gone down, has got that kill, so it has somewhat negated the loss in pressure and lane. They're only 200 gold down, so it's not a massive amount to Ragnar. But there's multiple times where I've looked at the map and I've seen Deadhound just standing away from the tower and just letting minions die.
Yeah, and you can see bot side, Ashe doesn't have a flash either. I think the next avenue of attack, LLS, because they're clearly behind, right? I'm trying to think of ways for them to get back in the game. I think the next avenue of attack for them is to head bot side. You can see pings coming down for both teams down bot. I imagine attacking that flashless Ashe, if they're tracking the summoner, is probably the best way to get some kind of a lead back in the game, but
yeah,
looks like they're more focused mid lane. Doesn't seem like they're going to find anything, though.
I will say, these Void Grubs, as far as the game looks, I think it's a 5-plater they've been able to kind of secure their team.
Yeah.
Because they got 1 plate mid and 4 plates top, and no plates were taken prior to the Void Grubs, so it has accelerated the power. I mean, Lenny, he has done a lot to this top lane tower. Yeah. He is being a real nuisance up here, and he hasn't even finished his item yet. As what's Chaos? May have to take the portal to safety away from any of this, as the Rift Herald is spawning up. And again, top lane ADCs kind of have to get left on their own while the team turn their attention towards this top side, because there's just so many major objectives up here. And yeah, that is going to be that. That's going to be the Herald getting picked up. Now, I want to get your thoughts on something, Aragon.
Go ahead.
Because we're seeing a lot of priority on these early top lane objectives. When do ADCs just start going top lane? That's the real question.
We have seen, not from the start, but we have seen about, like, you know, 6 minutes in, you just swap. Get bot laners out of bad matchups, you just send them top, right, and secure the grubs using that way. We've seen supports go up. I don't think they're worth that much to the point where you swap generally. Generally, I think grubs are more of a thing you take when you can, right? And that's generally the consensus, unless you have a very clear Void Grub team like you were saying. You know, you got a Fiora on your team, you got Tristana mid on your team, you got double AD carry who can hit towers all the time, yeah, go ahead. But generally, you probably don't want to end the entire game away. You know, if you need a reset, if you need to force it in some kind of way, if you want to take it, then you probably just rather not and go play for something else. So I would say probably not going to see many swaps outside of the occasional. Our bot lane's kind of struggling. Let's send them top, and then we'll take grubbies as well. You know?
Yeah. Interesting. Well, 15 minutes on the clock. It's 1 dragon apiece, 6 Void Grubs over to the side of Venom Crest. And you know, they'll take that first tower for themselves. They've still got the Rift Herald as well. And this will be one of those ones like we saw in the first game where when you've got 6 Void Grubs, the Herald summons so much. They actually get the quickness off, they get the knockup, they get the Ash Arrow, they get everything necessary. Tauron, he's shuffling away to safety. He doesn't want to go any further, but the portal comes out. Zubak stealing that one away, coming in for the chase onto EMP, and he is blown apart. Lovely little pick. Ragnar being spotted out here by Zubak, who flashes in with the wind becomes lightning. The free talent strike into the Heartbreaker. Ragnar pulled up, and Zubak, you wanted your 1 pick at a time, and they just did that flawlessly.
Yeah, really good discipline for killing 1 target at a time with that Rakan engage from Passy, the player we keep highlighting.
Just kidnap Lenny.
Narnia there. Lenny might be dead here. Yeah.
No, the shield!
It's the Orianna!
The Ori shield was so big.
Yeah, the W max, I imagine, is typically what you do on Orianna, just absolutely popping the the Cassante. Damn. Yeah, of course you lose resistances in that case, but still, across the board, LLS just got absolutely wiped. I'm pretty sure that was like equivalent of an ace. But yeah, like you were saying, that single target damage of the Rakan and Viego combo, we were talking about it. And this is probably why they drafted it, knowing that they probably draft a losing lane because it's blind Rakan. And you're usually going against range in that case. But still, managing to make it work, finding the engage, and then bursting 1 target, possessing, and you just chain kills that way. So shout out to Zubak and Passy.
Yeah. Color me impressed. I feel, today has been a day where a lot of our kind of key players have been the supports or the junglers. So far, I think we've got 1 jungle and 1 support as our MVP, if I'm remembering right.
Yep. Yeah.
And again, I think we might be in for another jungle / support MVP coming into this game because they played so well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like, the solo laners have done well too, right? Being put in hard situations, using counter pick well, right? And this is the tale of the game. You got counter pick both solo lanes and a winning bot side. what can EMP do, right? Zubak is just free reign on the entire map, and they can play for whatever fights they want. So looks like they're going to go for a pick onto Torak here, but knowing Azir, he could just, at worst, wall them away and then shuffle. Going to sell for Dragon, and this should be free.
Yeah, it's another Cloud Soul, actually. We had a Hex Tech in the last game. First game was a Cloud Soul. Venomcrest going to be quite happy to pick that one up. A little bit more movement speed, a little bit more kind of mobility to move around that map. And does look like Venomcrest are trying to get this tower, but that Ash Arrow just clips them.
Yep.
Not quite enough.
A little bit rough. They tried to cross-map topside for that Dragon on Bucci on that tower, but once again, Cassante not exactly the best champion at taking down towers, and they can't do it in time. Maybe if they send someone else with him, Azir and Cassante at the same time hitting that tower probably could do work. But gonna concede, get nothing for it, and that's, again, another example of just getting nothing. No cross maps. They didn't cross map getting the first 3 grubs, and now they haven't cross mapped getting the third dragon rather of the game. So next dragon's going to be really everything, isn't it? It's soul point for Venomcrest. What items can they complete before that point? And you're looking at second item for this Cassante. That frozen heart value will go huge here, as well as second item for that Jhin. That's what my eyes are really on. Maybe the death cap for this Azir.
Bucci. He's been seen at this point.
There's
actually a bait, because they do not know that Zubak is in the area. Like, Painful, he knows that Bucci's behind him, and he's probably just going to pull over the Viego. Bucci, that is not what you want to be doing, my guy. Presses the W, gets caught out by the shockwave. They get some damage down. There is a Heartbreaker available to Zubak. Is he going to be able to get away? Painful connects the kill, and now Ragnar's being chased down. Caught out by the slow from the Ash volley, but is going to flash to safety. They got the Void Herald, they got the Void Grub, so this tower will liquefy to Venomcrest here.
Yeah, Bucci just trying to, I don't know, make a pick or something, or catch the wave high, whatever it was. He got flanked by that Zubak, maybe didn't realize he was there. I was wondering if there was going to be a play coming out with that TP advantage on Torok, but again, maybe he doesn't want to do that because he wants to farm up for his death cap. So just out of position, Bucci. It is what it is. All side lane's going to get pushed now. That tier 2 massive injection of gold as an Azir set comes in.
No, Lenny goes one way.
Yeah, Bardock.
Gets him the other way. They do have that Bardock, but it's not going to be necessary. Pazzi jumps the wall to get away. There's EMP chasing on. Baron spawns up as well. And Pazzi is going to get himself away to safety for now as Dr. Chaos in the area. Pazzi just can get himself a cheeky little heal off. His EMP needs to be careful because Zobak actually going to spot out the Bard, but there is a portal, so pretty hard to actually do too much with that.
I wonder if they can convert that kill into a tower. Nope, the answer is definitely not, as they're terrified to even extend forward. I wonder if that's a needlessly large rod. Let's watch Torek's inventory, or a death cap. A death cap would be the absolute dream, but I don't think he has the gold for it, considering how far behind he is. Yeah, it's just going to be another needless. So they're going to walk onto the rift. This is probably his last purchase before the next dragon, and they're going to be content with it. Top lane going to be pushed in for the side of Venomcrest, and they're probably going to be matched by the Azir once again. As I wonder if this Baron's going to be considered.
I mean, they have a pretty quick Baron, to be honest.
They have a lot of damage.
You've got Zubak, you've got Deadhound, you know, you've got 2 Kraken Slayers, 2 Triforces, basically.
Exactly.
You're gonna melt through that, and actually, you also got a bit of Magic Pen from the Storm Surge.
Doesn't look like it. They don't want to risk flipping the game. They're going to set up a third Drake unless they get a pick onto Dr. Chaos, but he's just going to be barding. He's going to get away from there as the AoE Smite will take the Wraiths, and this is one sad Xin Zhao.
Yeah, that is a very sad Xin Zhao. Pretty heavily behind. Has got himself a Frozen Heart and that item, which I can't remember the name of, but gives you that,
Sundered Sky.
Initial Sundered Sky gives you that initial crit. It's quite a nice item for him to be running, to be honest, but I'm not sure if he's really going to get the opportunity to use it all that much.
Yep. I think both teams are just kind of scared to do anything because they don't want to lose their summoners before the next dragon fight, knowing it's a soul and it's actually a Is it relevant dragon? No, what is up with today? We've had another Cloud Soul.
Well, we had a Hextech in the last game, to be fair.
Oh, did we? Okay, I concede that then. All right.
That game was just so one-sided that Dragon Soul didn't matter, but there was a Hextech Soul. Oh, Pazzi.
Chain CC.
Actually,
prep
he's
the
going to get himself in danger. Just jumps over the wall. They've got the shots coming in from the ultimate. Painful loses a lot of HP in response. Good Ash Arrow, by the way.
Arrow?
Yeah, just cancelling that out onto Ragnar. Really, really nice. That could have been someone down. There's that Dr. Chaos. Going for it. Deadly Flourish not going to connect, and they're all right.
I think today we've seen the power of the Jhin and his pick potential, right? He definitely struggles at tank killing, definitely struggles at DPSing any kind of neutral, but you have Azir for that, right? So this is definitely a much better Jhin angle than the first game, and finding picks with it, forcing Rakan, I believe, not his flash, so unfortunately not the case, but still going to have a push on mid for the side of Venomcrest and be able to ward up that dragon.
They may look towards Baron once again, but there's so much vision to clear
Yeah, it
out
might
this
be
time, but it's a bit
It might be
harder.
a flip.
Or they just go towards the dragon, which is up
It might
now.
be first stage jitters, and they're going to say, guys, let's be sensible. Let's just get bot lane vision and then move in. Try and find a pick for dragon using the vision. We
Ooh,
have an
no
Ashe
Torah.
Rock.
He knows he's there. He's found
Is
him.
the
He's got
Azir
the
wall?
smite down. He's got the damage.
Oh,
The
there it is.
Heartbreaker over the Azir wall. That is just sad. And that's Dragon.
We saw that exact same play in the LLC. I believe it was Humanoid or something like this, and it was just absolutely beautiful. Canceling that CC, and yeah, it's going to be a free dragon. I wonder if they'll move everything over to topside. You can imagine they're going to put all their vision focus topside as well, and eventually choke them out. Bard, though, does have a lot of ways of checking Baron. Same goes for Jhin, so...
Yeah,
Unless
but
EMP
EMP
dies.
gets himself flashed out. Deadly Flourish does connect. And there's actually a Bard onto multiple members. Pansy finds himself in a little bit of danger. Is going to be able to get away. Shockwave goes wide. They are going to be able to get some damage down onto this tower, though. Finishing this one up. Yeah, they blew a lot. Yeah, they didn't get the kill, but they did ultimately still get something. So it's not the end of the world as EMP. He's losing another chicken camp. Nope, this time he'll get it.
Yeah, bit of a disaster. But still, once again, Venom Crest winning, and they're snowballing this game really clinically. As I say that...
Chaos in danger. Can he
Yes,
get
Flash.
away? Looks like they're going to throw everything down onto Deadhound. The ultimate comes out from the Jhin. Doesn't really connect too much more. Ashar not up and available. No damage. I say that. And Dr. Chaos has to get shielded up the Storm Surge Pock as well. Fortunately, the shield was still on, so not going to really do too much on that front as Bucci. We've seen tanky Casantes today. He's not quite at the unkillable stage yet.
Yeah, I mean, you could see, like, what the idea there is, though, right? They've got just completed 2 items across the board. Death cap for the Azir. They really wanted to try and find a fight, but they don't even pop a flash. Maybe a flash onto Deadhound, but that's it. So I want them to keep trying, though. This is about as even as they're going to get for the next, you know, whoever knows, 5 minutes.
Ashar! That was long range. That's what they needed. The
That's
shockwave!
Baron.
Deadhound! Beautifully placed are there. Just able to connect that. And actually, it looks like Venom Crest, they know that this is a little bit risky, especially with this Azir tower, so they can't, like, hard shove the wave under. Just going to step back, get some pressure. Zubac does find out Dr. Chaos, and bit of vision control, bit of area control. So in that last little bit of homework before they look to start up this dragon. And remember, this dragon will go down very, very quick to Venom Crest with those double Kraken Slayers. As you can see, its health bar is being cut through so fast. No Shockwave available, no Enchanted Crystal Arrow either. Pazzy, though, does have that quickness, so they're probably just going to look for that turn as they're jumping in. They find the knock up on to 1. They're going to get the Deadly Flourish off to multiple members as Pazzy gets himself in with multiple people, but the great Bartle actually shuts down any ability to chase any further. Dr. Chaos saved the day there.
Yeah. It looked a bit dicey because the Kasante even said a W for the, like, unstoppable onto the CC, but still managed to get out because he's super
Lenny?
tanky. Then
He's
Dr.
going for
Chaos
it.
is ult.
Lenny's going for it!
There
Gets
it
the
is.
free man! In they jump! Zubac stealing form after form! Ragnar's going down! EMP can't deal with Deadhound as they crumble! Lenny earning his paycheck off that one. Beautiful!
Yeah, and flashes aren't enough. Ragnar flashes still gets caught with it. They might just run it down here, Prin. I think this might be game with those Void Grubs. Do they have 6? I think
Yeah,
they
they do. They have 6 Void Grubs, so look at the
the
little
mites.
army they're going to get themselves built up here. Oh, Dr. Chaos. He has no R. He did such a good job to save the Baron, but it didn't save the base here. Down goes tower number 1. They've got so many grubs still left, and Lenny is dealing with chaos. He's going to get cooked. He's going to get taken down. There's the ace. There's the game. Venom Crest confidently beat out Lightside in their first game of the season.
So in terms of synergy, that was really impressive, right? Especially from the
Yes.
likes of Zubac and Pazzy. Of course, you know, Lenny got a massive ulti at the end there, but the majority of the game, Zubac invading consistently with the prio he has, and Pazzy knowing to shadow mid, for example, versus the Shurima shuffle potential and the Bard roams, as well as roaming topside, linking up with Zubac. I am really impressed with this support jungle duo, and they are ones to watch in the future.
Yeah, they really are. I will say, you were right. Lenny, though, with the game-winning ult. That was a 3. He just made sure he got those 3 people against the wall. The team knew instantly to back that up. But yeah, again, the reason that game ended there was because they had those Void Grubs. If you didn't have the Void Grubs, you wouldn't have had the spawns. You wouldn't have had the minions to be able to tank the towers. And they probably would have had to take, like, the inhibitor and then reset for Baron. But because they got those early Void Grubs off the back of Zubac just playing very, very well, they then translated that into the win off the back of that. So you can see, you know, Void Grubs paying that dividends for that early game kind of heads up play from Zubak there, and he just played absolutely amazing. Anyway, we still got one more game to go, so we're going to throw ourselves to a quick break, and then we'll be back with our analyst desk to talk about that game number 3.
G'day there, mates. I'm Bruce Brisbane, 8-time runner-up Australian Wildlife Presenter of the Year, and recently exonerated stingray trainer. The top blokes of the NLC have chat me a ripper gig to give you a fair dinkum tour of Summoner's Rift, showcasing some of the wild critters you're going to be copping an eyeful of in 2024. First up, the Void Grubbies. These guys are new to Summoner's Rift and fresher than a cold one on a scorching arvo. Knock off these drongos early and they'll just come right back like a bad rash. Unlike most river critters up the top end, they're not fond of blooming construction messing with their turf, dishing out bonuses to the team that kills them to take down those structures. Take down a bunch and them tails will be more covered in mozzies than me after a night out in the bush. Now, let's meet the Rift Arrow. She's dolled up and tougher in a one-on-one stoush. But remember, you can always give her a cheeky poke in the peeper if she's causing you strife. Play your cards right, she might even give you a lift straight into the enemy towers. Crikey! Baron Nash has copped a makeover too, now split into 3 new subspecies with teeth as gnarly as a pony's and breath that'll make a dingo blush. Each one got its own bag of tricks, some even reshaping the joint around them. Buffed up and beefed up, you'll need a couple coppers if you want to take these legends down. When Baron spawns in, red buff, blue buff and Rift Sculler get a fresh coat of paint, with the Rift Sculler giving a big burst of vision and buff share globally, so even the Bogon splitting down bot lane get a slice of the meat pie. Now, that's the lowdown from me, Bruce Brisbane. Make sure you chuck on the telly every Wednesday and Thursday to the NLC for top-notch Northern European League of Legends action. See ya, legends.
Break it down, step on the gas, let's get out of town. We gonna break out and have some fun. We gonna do what you never done. Oh yeah, yeah. Come on, take your body with you. It's a money weekend. Everything we wanna, we go do too.